Elton Jenkins update of the day. Now let's shift to the Jeff Hafley press conference. That sound good, fellas? Let's do that.
Yeah.
We heard the man speak earlier today. Man, I'll tell you, every time that he shares at the podium, it's absolute gold. If you'll get me a screenshot together, Tim, whenever you get a chance there. This first one, love it. This first one is Jeff Hafley talks about the importance of allowing your scheme to evolve and how he, in all caps, did not do enough to help the Packers win last year. One word, all caps, Leader, leader. Here's Jeff Hafley about 1:40 at the podium. Just love the way this guy speaks about his team. He puts it on himself first and foremost. And I love how they talk about how he was showing those exotic looks last year, and that wasn't the plan going in. But here's Jeff Hafley at the podium.
Since the season ended, that the way you guys ended up having to rush the quarterback was not how you envisioned it at the start of the season. Would you like to get back to just rushing a traditional 4, or do you want to incorporate some of the exotic stuff you guys did last year again?
Yeah, we'll incorporate it for sure. I think that's one area that we need to coach better, and I think we need to see that translate to the field. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that we did, looking back and really spending time in the last few weeks that, I kind of thought would go differently, but then you evolve, right? I mean, the exotics had success, so we ran them. People will have that film now, so they'll be studying the exotics in the off season. So again, we just can't sit here and say, well, it worked last year. It probably won't work as well, right? Because people are studying it right now. So can we rush with 4? Can we rush with 3? But we have to get better. And I'm talking to myself. I need to be better this year. Our coaches need to coach better. Our players need to play better. We just don't want to stay the same. We want to be better. We lost in the playoffs. That wasn't good enough. We felt like we could have played better, even in that last game when the score was 16-10 and we gave up a field goal. I get it. We did some good things in that game, but we could have had another stop, right? So I could have done a better job there. And then who knows what would have happened. So you got to look at it from that lens. And, if we're rushing with 4 early in the season, does that mean we're going to be rushing well at the end of the season with 4? No, like we gotta figure it out as we go, but I think we'll be able to do that better. I'm confident there.
I love it. Love this dude, man.
And lifetime contract for Jeff Hafley.
Right. And immediately posting these type of videos on Twitter, they blow up, right? And everybody in the comments going, we ain't gonna have this guy for long, Tim. He's gonna get a job somewhere. That's gonna happen. So let's take advantage of it while we can, right? But yep. I love what he said there because, I think people forget that, like, coaches, they look at the season, they break the season down into quarters, right? Typically 4 games, mini 4-game seasons essentially. And you're constantly self-scouting your own team, your own defense, your own offense, and making sure you're not becoming too predictable, right? And I love what Hafley said there in just terms of, first of all, taking ownership. That's what leaders do, man. Period. Case closed. Matt LaFleur does it well, as anybody. And I love somebody in the comments said Matt LaFleur literally went out and got the defensive version of himself to be his defensive coordinator. And it's absolutely huge as they legit built a top 10 defense last year, top 3 rushing defense, and a top 8 passing defense. And I love how he sees the game, how he looks at the game. And like he said, yeah, we showed exotic looks down the stretch there, but teams are going to look at that. They've had all offseason to study the tape, Tim. And you can bet your sweet behind they're going to be ready. And now Jeff Hafley's got to be ready to adjust. We talk about that going into a game week. Like, you prep for the tape that you just watched. And typically, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure all coaches are different, typically what teams will study leading up to a game week is, or to a game day is, let's look at a 4-game saturation of their last 4 games, and let's look at our last 2 head-to-head matchups with that coaching staff, right? Now, here's the thing. The other team's doing the same thing. So if you were dominant, if you were successful in the previous matchup before, you're going into that matchup going, okay, do we do what we worked last time? Or do we change it up knowing they're going to look to stop what we did well last time? And that's where you got to be careful and not outsmart yourself. But I don't know, Tim, what's your take on what Hafley said here, man?
No, I gathered the same thing. The first thing that stood out to me was, he wasn't really critical of anything other than the performance by the guys last year. And then he took ownership, like you said. So, you kind of deflect the praise and accept the responsibility, leadership 101. So, And I think he did a good job of answering the kind of vanilla question about, rushing for, are you gonna try to mix in exotic looks? It's like, duh. No, we're gonna run 4 guys at the quarterback every down and bang our heads against the wall with no versatility. So I do think that you're right. The next stop for a guy like Jeff Hafley is a head coaching position in the NFL, and you can't block a promotion, right? So the better this team is under Jeff Hafley, the better this defense is, the better odds of him getting a head coaching look. So, he's going to try and have these guys ready to go, firing on all cylinders. So I do think that we're going to see, I don't know, I think we'll see a little bit more of the same. We'll see some things we saw last year, and we'll see some new looks too. I think his comments about not wanting to stay the same, stick with what works, your bread and butter stuff, but you want to get better. You want to evolve, and you got to mix in some different looks. And, hey, we got some different personnel here after this free agency and the draft. So it'll be fun to see Hafley's defense with a couple new chess pieces out there on the board,
Absolutely, Tim. And to those new points, when later on in the presser, I don't know if we'll get to it, but he was talking about how, is there 4 down linemen? Is there 3 down linemen? Is there a big? Do we have nickel? Do we have 3 safeties and 2 corners, or 3 corners, 2 safeties? All those things to add to this defense, because you can't stay stagnant. And I think you said it, Clay. Matt LaFleur is Jeff Hafley just on defense. Remember when that Athletic was talking and Matt had all those windows open, checking out on all the other teams, trying to see what they do. Maybe Hafley's doing the same thing. All right, where's Baltimore at with their defense? All right, what did Philly do? All these different things to try to build on, because you can't stay the same. And I do think that he's got something here. You work with your talent that you have, and I think this defense can really be something. Not like they weren't anything last. It's not like we were talking about 32nd ranked in anything. I mean, we weren't late 20s in anything. We weren't really early 20s. I think we were half or better. Top 16.
Yep.
Like in every category. So that's incredible for a first your defensive coordinator. I can't wait to see this year.
Yeah, listen, you're never staying the same in anything that you're doing. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And having that mentality of just constantly trying to get better, that's the only way to look at things for sure. 2-0 for this in the chat says, I'm pumped to see what has cooking. Hopefully Jair can stick around so we can see him at his best. I'm with you on that completely. That would be really, really awesome. He goes on to say, I loved how Hafley just kept letting them ask questions. If you guys didn't watch the presser, like he said, are we good? And I think there at one point, whoever the PR guy said, one more question. He took that question, he answered it, and then he said, we good? And somebody started to say, hey, no, we're okay, go ahead. And one more person asked the question. And then after they asked the question, Hafley said, anybody else got anything? And Matt Schneidman, you could hear him make a comment like, so-and-so is going to kill us. Like his head's about to pop off. And Hafley was like, okay, hey, look, appreciate you guys. Like, he's just so good.
To that point, Clayton, did you hear him at the beginning when he was saying, none of you got in contact with me about talking about defense? I'm like, What are you doing? What are you doing?
He literally said, I have had nothing, not want to say nothing to do, but paraphrasing, like all my free time has been the last couple of months and nobody reached out.
Right.
Love it.
Now that I reminded you, everyone's going to reach out now. It's like, dude, I got 10 days and I'm still cranking on everything else. Like, dude, that should have been the first text you made in February, the second one you made in March. I mean, run that info down.
Exactly. 2-0 for this says, also in the live stream of the pressers, Omer was in the chat hating on everything.
Him? No.
Craig Rice went on to say, Omer was hating? No way. It must have been hacked by AFM. And I'll just say this about Omer. He probably won't be back around. I shouldn't even say it. I don't mean to laugh, but the guy basically sent me messages going, boy, I can't wait till the show tonight. I'm going to tell y'all why y'all are all wrong, essentially. And I'm like, Omer, bub, if you get in the chat, you're not going to make it out of the chat. You're going to be banned. Like, it's that simple. We're not here to argue. And, he has moved on, and so have we. We parted as friends, I guess you could say.
Here's the guy.
Anyway, good to see Omer still out there in the live streams, giving them hell and explaining to the coaches what they're doing wrong. That's a good thing. Tim, give me another screen grab. We got another soundbite here from Hafley, man.
You got another one from the Half Master?
Sir, you got
We'll leave this one up for Omer.
Oh, I like it. All right, so here was Hafley asked about the signing of cornerback Nate Hobbs and whether he'll play inside or outside on the defense. Quick little clip, about 50 seconds long. Here we go.
Nate Hobbs, and how does he fit in with what else you have in that room and moving guys around?
Yeah, Nate, I see Nate can play outside and Nate can play inside. So we're gonna have him do both. His film was, when you're getting ready for free agency and you're evaluating tape, it's one thing that you love about him. He's had a lot of success inside, and I thought his tape outside was equally as good. He is competitive. He's tough. He is physical. He plays the game fast. You can tell he loves it. It just jumps off the tape. I don't know if you guys watched any of it, but it certainly jumps off the tape the way the guy plays, and he's been a great addition. And he does give you that versatility where you can move him around. And again, I'm a big fan of that.
All right, so there you go, talking about the versatility, which is absolutely huge. And I seen in the comments on Twitter with some of these videos I tweeted out, people immediately arguing Emilio, and it's like, oh, he's definitely playing inside. Oh no, he'll be outside. I think Hafley's telling the truth. It might be a week-to-week thing too. You might go out one week and go, I really like how Hobbs matches up with this slot receiver, or it might be something that, hey, we want him out on the outside this game because that's where their strength is, even if Jai is or isn't on the roster. I'm not expecting Nate Hobbs to be a top 10 corner. What I need is him to be in the top 32. The money we paid him, that would justify, all right, man, you got a number 1 caliber cornerback, right? Top 32 caliber cornerback in the entire league for what would then be a good deal. You kind of paid him like a number 2 corner, to be honest with you. But Emilio, what do you think about what he said there with Nate Hobbs? And more importantly, how are you using on Madden? I need to know that.
Yeah, I'm on Madden, man. Right now I've been working him on the outside, but we'll see. I think, you look at it like Bullard, right? We asked him to come down from the safety spot into the nickel a lot. If you're asking, Hobbs to go left to right, step inside, I think that might be a little bit easier on him. I think it's maybe a little bit more versatile of a Keyshawn if Key wants to stay on the outside. If Hobbs can handle the two-way go, that's going to be the biggest thing. So if he's good at that, all right, let's keep him at nickel. But you said, per game, I think that's what it's going to have to be. And then you're also looking at personnel. Are you at 3 safeties? Okay, do you still want him on the field, or did you want Carrington, or who's going out there? But I think you're exactly right. We just need him to play decent. He probably just didn't scroll down far enough in the comments to see the Raider fans. They were saying, why I can't believe we let him go. This is terrible. Like, why would we? He was like our best secondary player, and it's just about the perspective.
Definitely. What do you think, Tim?
I love Half's comment there about the versatility just jumping off the tape. ... I don't know if you guys watched any of it. I like how he slid that in. All you guys like to criticize these players, but you watch 0 film on them. So I think I agree with Emilio's point, man. It's going to be a matter of how they choose to utilize him, and I don't think there is one choice. I mean, he could be left side, right side. He could be in the slot. Who knows? They may ask him to move back to safety for all we know. I don't know. But when you have, the versatility factor next to your name, I mean, it's a big reason why we picked him up in free agency. I think if he was strictly a slot or he was strictly a boundary guy, we might have, been looking elsewhere. So tape doesn't lie, right? He's got the stuff on film, and I'm looking forward to seeing him do it here in Green Bay. However, Hafley and the boys choose to utilize him. It'll be fun to watch. Coach Ansley too, working with some of these new DBs that we have. So we'll see what the install looks like. And I'm with you guys, man. I agree with your comment too, Clayton. This could be a week-to-week thing. You could see him be a starting slot one week and the next week not start at all and be a rotational guy on the boundary. Who knows? So we'll see.
It could come down to OTAs too, and see if Keyshawn continues to build off that success he had on the outside. And when I say success, I'm not saying that Keyshawn's a top corner in the league, but he definitely played better outside than he did inside. Yep. And having a little bit better run defender on the outside, and then you throw a Javon Bullard or a Nate Hobbs into the slot, who's a solid run defender. Now your run defense just got even better, right? So I kind of see it that way.
And why do you go out and pay in free agency? Because like Tim, like you were saying, you've seen the tape, you've seen him do it at an NFL level. You didn't know what you were going to get out of somebody from college. I mean, he already knows some defense. He knows Rich. That's I think a bit, who I forgot who was said. I think it was Move the Sticks earlier in the year. They were like, if we want to go out and find a D tackle, you can go find one of those on the market that's probably not going to break the bank. To go out and get a wide receiver, a number 1 wide receiver, it's going to cost you big bucks.
It's true, man. And that's why you've got to be aware of the market. It's just, I try to tie football in just with everyday, aspects of life, and anybody who dabbles in the stock market. Hearing everybody the last 3 months freak out over the stock market as if it's not going to come back. And I know people, I don't want to say close to me, but friends here in Tennessee that were selling portfolios. I got to get out. This is just, like, bro, all the work you put into that investment over the last 5 years or 10 years, however long, you're literally selling low. What are we even doing here? Right.
Yep.
Like, and sure enough, man, boom, market's back. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When it was down, guess what your boy was doing?
Buying more.
Oh man, it was like shopping at a yard sale across the street from the Airbnb. $1 million
Oh.
in the garage. Like, what's he got for selling here?
Come on now. I saw a Bosch box and I ran over there. I was wondering what we're getting our hands on.
And then you wake up and the market's up 1,000 points and your whole portfolio's up 8%. And it's like, okay, that's how you play the game, right? In football, it's no different. Like, if you see the market where, wow, people are overpaying for a wide receiver, what did Goody do? When everybody else zigs, he zags. He goes and drafts wide receivers. And I think we've got the third cheapest wide receiver room in the league as it sits right now. Last year we had the cheapest wide receiver room. And you put that money into where you have, where you think the most bang for your buck is going to be. It's another reason why edge defenders get drafted so high, because they break the bank. Look at your Bosa's. If you hit on that guy, you've got him for 4 years, really 5 years if you draft him in the first round with a 5th-year option, before you have to pay him $30 to $40 million per on average. So it's just the way you got to play the game there, for sure. 2-0 for this before we move on from Hafley said, Elton Jenkins loves the exotic looks. Yes, he does. That's what I've heard. Greg Rice in the chat says, you had me for one more year on Patreon. Good deal, Greg. Hopefully you got it straightened out. I tried to DM you right before we went live here, but I'm sure it was just a simple little fix there. So